legitimately going to happen in the restaurant.
There's none of those.
No, Laggers he can keep his place in the SLP squad.
I'm dropping him.
Well, I'll pick him for my team then. He can come play for Beard RLFC.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Because I don't have one.
You do have one. But can we just stop?
Right, who's next?
Stop messing with me. Alan Walker's next. He says Greg Bird to be man of the match in a final and swear on the telly, possibly in French.
It's that part that pushes it towards the improbable that he's going to learn French.
Yeah, no, they don't learn French.
Mark Butler, he says Toronto will make the Challenge Cup semis, the World Cup semis to be obvious 3, and Wales.
Oh.
Kyle Amor to finally realise he looks fucking ridiculous and lose the hairdo and beard.
He doesn't look ridiculous.
He normally starts the season off without it, doesn't he? And then lets it burgeon as the season goes along, yeah.
The only time I remember him cutting it was... I don't remember.
This time last year.
No. Who did they all shave? They all shaved the beards off. What did they do that for? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Somebody hurt themselves.
It was the Danny Jones fund.
That's right, yeah. That was the last time I remember seeing him beardless, was for the Danny Jones thing.
There you go.
He doesn't look fucking ridiculous. He looks like... Oh, what's he called? The Fish Fingers man. Captain Birdseye. He looks like young Captain Birdseye.
No, because young Captain Birdseye said handsome and stuff now, isn't he? The one that they have nowadays.
Oh, I don't watch adverts.
Non-threatening.
I don't watch adverts. I've got Sky Plus. It just gets whizzed through.
Alright.
And I'm not susceptible to fish finger advertisement.
Fair enough. Of that sort. Move on.
You are, yeah. Right.
No, I've not eaten a fish finger since I was pre-teen.
Oh, you're missing a treat, mate. Fish finger sandwich, a bit of salad cream. Fucking hell, it's lush. Lee Wheeler, he says, after a standout year with Gale, Raggy chases to make himself available for England again, and that be Wayne Bennett's half-back pairing. Oh, God.
Helena Bowie, this one's, after the first part, quite nice. Lee Centurion's place in the top 4 after the playoffs. First woman referees, and Ben Thaler removed as a ref. I'd like to see the first woman referee. They were closer down under than we are
up here. Can't be far off in the grand old scheme of things, can it?
No, who's next?
Cutthroat Jake says Prince Harry will be so enamoured following his involvement as patron of rugby league that he'll be the most enthusiastic convert since Claire Balding.
David Cantrell says, in the wake of Solomona's kerfuffle, the RFL and RFU will agree to cooperate on player registration and also disciplinary procedures for players who switch codes whilst under a ban. Right.
Seems unlikely. Paul King says that Nigel Wood will combust after a half-time pie at Batley. Gary Hetherington takes over at the helm of the RFL and introduces a new rule giving Leeds a 12-point start in all games. They go on to finish 8th. Very good. Bradford go into administration again, and Wayne Bennett announces the World Cup squad is entirely Australian-born with dodgy English passports. That all seems legit.
Mike Donnelly said this will be the final season for Sean Wayne, Tony Smith and Brian McDermott at their current clubs, and a Serbian player will play a Super League game and score a try.
Hey.
Oh.
David Angelic.
Maybe so.
Game signed up.
Make it so.
Run through brick walls for you. quite literally. Mark Birmingham, he says referees to be decent, not a chance, according to him. Salford to be relegated. Widnes to win the Challenge Cup. Dennis Betts to take over at Wigan. Warrington to finally win a grand final. We're stretching it there, mate.
Do you know what? We could have scratched that one because there's two or three feasible ones there I can see.
Yeah.
Daniel Fowler. Greg Eden will score tries. Yeah, the English Billy Slater. Derek Beaumont will talk a lot. Probably a lot of shit.
Controversial from Daniel.
And
he doesn't often break the swear barrier, does our Dan, now that he's a legitimate journalist.
Don't tell him it's DFS Sports.
Oh yeah, no, this isn't that guy.
No, it's a different one.
Yeah,
it's Dan Fowler 97.
Yes, that one. It's the boy you first met all those years ago on like that. The innocent young man at his keyboard, wasn't it? Mark Roseveare says Salford to get no points deductions.
Actually, I met his dad first, and it was his dad who was plugging all his abilities. Yeah, I met his dad at.
You did. It was a thing in Blackpool, wasn't it?
No, it was at when Sheffield were playing at the dog track.
All right.
And I went to a game there. Do you remember Quips, who used to get in touch quite a lot back in the early days? Right,
okay, yeah, I'm on board now.
Yeah, and I was talking to Chris, I think Dan's dad is, and then he was saying my son writes in the programme, he's only 16, but he wants to be a journalist and stuff. I was like, oh, cool. And then after that, we got a bit more chat with Dan, didn't we? We got him on a few times, and now he's far too big for us.
Oh, yes, he's outgrown us massively. Mark Roseby.
I have to force him to send us stuff now.
Please, Dan. It's because we take the piss out of his new fancy Twitter handle, isn't it? That's why. It's like, fuck those guys. Salford to get no points deductions and to be in the news for only rugby-related matters. Of course, this is after the current bollocks between Sheens and the club. Oh, I'm not... Oh, right, yeah, because he left them, didn't he?
No, he's suing them now, isn't he, for unpaid wages, of course.
Oh, of course he is. That doesn't surprise me. Probably is the same lawyer as Tony Pullatua. I also predict that Mark will go on endlessly about Wigan again this season and will show massive man love for George Williams.
It's happening already.
No, it's gelling now. You've gone off, George.
No, I've not. You heard my key man.
Yeah, but you love him, I think. If you had to choose.
That's the problem with I mean, his first part about Salford is a bit out there, but his second part about me is bang on. It's not.
Cock on, really, isn't it? Yeah.
We shouldn't have read that bit out. It's too accurate. Craig Finney says Eddie Hemmings will remove his wig to produce a highly polished bonce in respect of Steve-O. Phil Clark will continue to talk absolute Bulldogs bollocks while secretly masturbating over Wigan. Sam Tompkins will reveal that he's a ladyboy and it won't be Warrington's year.
There's a tremendous amount of stuff that's out there, isn't there? Tom Eckley 99 says that Jordan Cox will make his long-awaited return to Warrington in March, score a hat-trick against Wigan before winning the Man of Steel at the end of the season, and then will captain England to World Cup success. Alternatively, I'll push the boat out and say Salford for top 5. Don't be ridiculous, Tom. They're never getting the top 5.
Tim G Radio says Yestin Harris to be employed, Mark to still have hair, Tom to have done some cycling.
Oh, can I do it better?
At least one other championship club to go to the wall, and Brian McDermott to still be at Leeds.
Do you know what? I don't think that's a bad shout. I know everyone thinks Brian McDermott's getting sacked or moved on this year, but I think he'll be there.
I think the point of making that prediction is he must have realised how many we will have received the other way, and we did receive a lot. And because we received so many, it started to become more realistic.
Yes, that's good. That's good work there too. Elliot Wrench says that Toronto will go on an amazing cup run and meet Toulouse along the way to play out one of the best exciting games for years. England will put the naysayers to bed and storm the World Cup, flattening New Zealand and Australia en route. Wayne Bennett smiles like a hyena on acid and tells gags at the winners' press conference. I put 50p on it down the bookies, he goes on to say. That's how dead sure I am. Drops the mic.
And then finally, Gary Ormiston says, not sure if it's possible or impossible, but England to make the Rugby League World Cup final, something they haven't done for a generation, when we were still officially part-time. Have we gone forwards or backwards in that time? We could devote a whole show on that matter. A nice double, though, is Toronto and Toulouse to both get promoted.
There you go. Right, thank you very much.
Toulouse being the more surprising,
I would say so,
side of that one.
Yes, thank you both. Thank you all of you for your say what. All that remains for us to do now is, for the first time in season 4, is to wrap up the show. Right, well that was another epic Super League pod. If you're listening for the first time, you probably had to do that in pieces, really, because you didn't know what was coming. But that's taken some doing, hasn't it? Well, that's the season previewed in pretty much every way.
Our longest season preview show, and we keep racking up the hours, don't we?
Keep smashing records everywhere we go. We're a well-oiled machine, Mark, but it is wonderful to be back.
No. We're a well-rambled machine.
Well, either way, we're a rugby league behemoth. We're a juggernaut.
We did our best as well to keep ourselves under a clock.
We keep referencing the clock. I don't know if we talked about it earlier in the show because it was a couple of days ago now that we started it. But we did have a timer on the go for all the bits about the Super League teams to keep it to 5 minutes in terms of us both sort of ad-libbing and talking about our notes and stuff.
Yeah.
And we still seem to be sat here 3.5 hours later, near enough. So
I'm sure there'll be some to go out in the edit. There was a lot of
it's great to be back.
A lot of nose blowing that had to be done today, unfortunately.
You may not have picked up on it. I'm sure that the consummate professional that I am, I have masked my illness very, very well and delivered the kind of professional podcast hosting that you've become used to from 50% of us. Don't cover your work up. I'm not trying to read it. But yeah, I've been a bit under the weather.
The new section, and I don't want you cheating.
I've been a bit under the weather. But We're nearly finished now, so let's power through, Mark. It's wrapping up the show time. Before we crack on with some of the details of the things that we've planned, though, I do want to just talk about Andy's Man Club. It's obviously something that we've taken to our hearts over the last sort of 8 to 10 months or so, really. But actually, it's really getting off the ground now as an organisation and as a group for men to go to and meet with other blokes and just discuss life and mental health and all things to do with that. So I'm going to tweet the...
There was a great piece in Mentality,
Yes.
Stevie Ward's magazine.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't just be for millennials, surely. People like us who are a bit older than that can read it too. And
I thought we were millennials.
I thought we're 10 years above millennials. I thought millennials are people in their 20s now.
What does that make us then? Generation X. I'm not comfortable with that.
I don't know. Anyway, whatever we are,
we're not that.
We can read this article. It was an interview with Luke Ambler, and it was really quite personal. More personal than it's probably been on this whole journey publicly.
Yeah.
Which is good because it adds more backdrop to what is a fabulous movement that is helping save lives.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Well, and on that note, they actually have 5 different meetings going on across the north and into Wales. They hold one at Halifax, they hold one at Hebden Bridge, they hold one in Leigh at the Sports Village, they have one at Hull at the Pulse Rate Group, and they have one in Bridgend at the Brewery Field. Now, I've got all the postcodes and all the details, so we will tweet that out pretty quickly after the show, or quickly after Mark leaves, so it'll be up there for you guys to take a look at. And they all meet every Monday at 7 p.m, so if it's something you fancy getting along to, or if you want to accompany someone and just try and help somebody out, then I'm certain the guys down at those places will be able to point in the right direction and give you a helping hand.
Well said.
Thank you. Okay, it just says wrap up the show and we've got things to plug.
Yeah,
plug
so obviously the new season is going to be with us 2.5 weeks away now. The first Thursday night game of the new season. We have our Super Brew Predictions League, which was very popular and enjoyed last year. The take-up has been a bit slower than maybe last year, but I think loads of people jumped on late.
Yeah.
If you go on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Super League Pod, or at Super League Pod on Twitter, you'll find in the timelines there links to that. So that should be fun for everyone to play along with. And then the Dream Team competition. Now, that's not quite opened up yet, last time I checked. But by the time the new season gets underway, that'll be there. So I'll be tweeting out, details of that with the pin that you'll need to use to access that. So, yeah, and if you want to join either of the competitions and it's just for fun, because we don't have a budget to spend on prizes, but if you want to join in with any of the competitions, get in touch with us if you don't see the details flying around. So, by all the methods Tom mentioned above, facebook.com/Super League Pod, at Super League Pod on Twitter, or superleaguepod@gmail.com by email.
Yes, but you've got to make sure you use the symbol for at.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was important to point out.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. Let's talk about the World Club Series.
Well, yeah. You won't be going to the Warrington game now. That's off the table.
No, I won't be going to Warrington, but I'm
still considering it, but it might depend on what else comes up.
But we are coming to Wigan.
Oh, for the clash. For the first time in 2 years.
First time there's been a podcast derby. Yeah, the pod off. Oh, God.
Podcast derby, like you say. Wigan versus Cronulla.
Yes.
We'll be there. And in advance of the game...
Cronulla. I can't wait, mate.
The plan in advance of the game is...
Well, we're going to get the train down to Wigan and go for a few beers around the town.
Hopefully, if the trains are running and working properly.
We're going to get public transport down to Wigan and go for a few beers around town. The plan is to be in Wigan for about 12:30 prior to the match and base ourselves in and around the Wigan Central
Probably just
area.
go to Wigan Central.
There you go, Wigan Central. It's the pub under the station.
Yeah.
We'll tweet out that because they like to retweet us and be friends with us as well, so I'm sure we'll get some play. But if you are in that neck of the woods for the World Club season, we'll come up and say hello. We'd be delighted to bump into you and have a jar and a quick chat. So that's
and
what
then
we'll
see what the scope is for after game. But pre-game is the intention.
Yes,
we'll see what happens elsewhere.
I will be easily recognisable. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. Okay. Oh, you've got one of them hats, have you, with like the blue and the white and the black?
I'm not even close, mate. Not even close. I'm not giving anything away, but I will be easily recognisable.
Okay.
So when's the next episode of Super League Pod for all these excited Super League Pod listeners?
Well, we're going to get more into the nuts and bolts of news and previews and stuff like that for the weekly games in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
So the first week of Super League when the first week of Super League kicks off, we'll be there that Monday night recording for that Tuesday for you guys to have a show to listen to.
There you go.
And you'll be able to keep that ticking over and listen to it on your way to your Thursday night games or your Friday night games, and then see what we make of things predictions wise and news.